Hi, my name is Mike Welsh. Today we are going to be looking at how to customize an existing quick query. In this video, we will talk about how you can add or delete columns, how to use filters, and then how to save and delete a customized quick query. Let's first start with opening up an existing quick query. For this video, we are going to customize the AP Documents quick query. So we will click on Quick Query, Financial, and then AP Document. For this query, we are going to first delete the Company ID column. You can do this by right-clicking on the Company ID heading and choosing Remove Column. And if you go back to the end, you will see that that column is now gone. If you want to add a new column to the query, you would right-click on any of the column headings and click Choose Columns. You now have a list of available columns to add to the query and a list of already selected columns in the query. In this case, we will add the Create User column. If we don't want this to be the last column in the query, we can move it up or down to position it where we want it. If you wanted to reset everything back to before you started making changes in the screen, you can click the Reset button. And all the changes that were made will be gone, and the query will be set back to how the query was before you open the Choose Column screen. You will see the Create User column is no longer in the selected columns list. You'll also notice the Customer ID column was not added back since this was removed prior to opening the Choose Column screen. If you wanted to add everything to the query, you could do this by clicking the Clear button. Since we do not want to have all columns added to the query, we will click Reset so it goes back to the original, and then add the Create User column back to the selected column list and click OK. Now see at the end that it has a Created User column. Now let's talk about filters. Filters help you narrow down the information that appears in the query. If you wanted to add a filter to this query by a certain vendor, you could do this by selecting Vendor ID and then typing the vendor ID you want this query to be filtered by. In this case, we'll use BT0122. You will see only documents for vendor BT0122 now show. If you wanted to add another filter or one that is more complex, you can do this by clicking to expand and then clicking Add Filter. If we wanted to see only the items that have a document type of CK, we could do that by selecting a document type. Select Is, and then the value is CK. And when you tab off, it'll filter that. Now only items for vendor BT0122 document type CK are listed. If you wanted to save this customized query, you could do that by clicking the Save button. One thing to make a note of is that only the customized columns are saved, and any filters entered down here will be saved. This filter will not be saved though. So let's click Save. You can give the query view a name and description. You can give it a name. In this case, we'll just put Test. You also can either make it available for all users, or if you wanted to do a certain group or a certain user, you could filter it that way also. But in this case, we will select all users and click OK. This customized query will not show up until you log out and back into Dynamics SL. So let's log out and back in. Once you have logged out and back into Dynamics SL, let's go back to the Quick Query and Financials. And you will now see that the quick query that you saved now shows up. And you will notice it no longer has that filter, but it is still filtered by check. And it has that column create user that we added. If you wanted to delete a customized query, you can do that by opening the original query, which in this case was the AP documents. Then click on AP documents, and it'll show a list of any customized queries associated with this. In this case is the test we want to delete. And then you click this delete button, and yes. And that customized test query has now been deleted. And that won't take effect once again until you log out and log back in. And once again, we'll go to Quick Query, Financial, and now you'll see that that test customized quick query is no longer there. This concludes the process of customizing, filtering, and saving and deleting an existing quick query. I hope this video was helpful.